What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today I wanted to talk about my opinions on remote work, right? And I know remote work, this is what a lot of people prefer to do, right? This is what I do myself. Um, Many people apply to jobs, right? And they want to get maybe some sort of remote job, right? And it makes sense. You don't want to be stuck in the same location, and you want to have that flexibility to be able to get up and move, right? And then you don't have to switch jobs, you don't have to go through that headache. You just have a Wi-Fi connection in your computer with you, and I always recommend it. I actually prefer it more than not having it, but I also think there's a big negative to remote work, right? Because think about it, when you're physically going to an office or you're going to a job, or say you run a business, you're an entrepreneur, right? And you got to open up shop, or you got to go to the office every day, right? To make sure your business is running properly. What it does is it puts you around people. It makes you socialize. It makes you better at, it gives you social skills. It makes you a better communicator amongst people because you're around people often. It forces you to dress better, right? You're going to shower every morning. You're going to put on nice clothes, right? Maybe a nice pair of shoes, nice pants, nice jacket, shirt, right? Nice button down. You're going to put on some cologne. You're going to look like the best version of yourself. If you have hair, not like me, I don't have hair, but if you have hair, you might do your hair nicely. You might gel it up or do whatever you usually do or put pomade in it to make it look nice. But if you're working from home, you don't really have the incentive to do that, right? You might get up, go to work while you're still half asleep. I know I do that often. And then you just go somewhere else, right? Or you just do that over and over again. And you could lose track of it. You don't even have to leave your house. You could sit in your house for about you could sit in your house 5 days in a row and not have to leave. If you need food, you could order Uber Eats. If you need groceries, you can just order groceries on Instacart, right? Or whatever grocery delivery service there is. If you really need if you need to buy something like a new piece of furniture, or you need a new charger for your laptop, you could just order on Amazon, right? There's It's to the point that we don't really need to leave the house, right? And if you work from home, you never need to leave the house. Like, leaving the house is optional now. And I just think there's a harm to it. Like, it's great because it makes us more productive. It gives us more freedom to live where we want to. But at the same time, I think it kills our desire to like do what we basically do, is just socialize with other people, be presentable, and also be physically active. Because now, for many people, the gym is kind of optional, right? Most people, right? They always talk about they have to get to the gym. They'll get around to it, but they never get around to it. They never do it, right? And if you're sitting down all day, right, in a computer screen, maybe you're watching TV, right? You don't have to go to the movies anymore because you could just watch it on Netflix from your smart screen, your smart TV that has all the apps like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, right? Um, you could you could just you're in bed. So you're in bed, you're on the couch, and you're on a desk. So you're basically sitting the entire day. And what that does is it's going to add up over time. It's going to be even harder to like socialize. It's going to be even harder to go around people. It also makes isolation like more common, especially in colder climates. This is the one thing I noticed in colder climates. In warmer climates, this is why I think warmer climates have an advantage over colder climates when it comes to this. I think the working remote, working from home type of thing, that type of environment works better in a walkable and warmer climate environment. Why do I say that? Because when you're in a warmer climate, right, what you can do is, okay, I need to get out of the house. I need to there's like less friction already because the sun's out. So you're probably going to want to go outside anyway, right? You might be doing work and you might say, "Oh, I kind of need a break from work. I'm going to go on a walk and maybe go to the park, or if you live near a beach, go to the walk on the beach or whatever, right? You're going to want to do something, and And the thing is, other people are going to be doing it too. So you're naturally going to meet people when you do it, right? And you might feel the need to take care of your health because you notice that a lot of people are in shape and your body, you're not wearing like layers like you do in cold weather cities. So you can't really hide it as well. Like if you're out of shape, it's noticeable. So you're more inspired to take care of your health. You're more inspired to go to the gym, right? So personally, that's why I think if you look at like many digital nomads, right? Yes, a lot of them go to places in Europe. I know Portugal is a common place, and I know Northern Europe maybe, but not as much. But if you go to places like Thailand, Vietnam, um, Bali, like places in Indonesia, a lot of these warm weather places, right? Colombia have a lot of digital nomads. Why? Because they're warmer. And it makes sense because if you're working remote all day, you kind of want to break from just being in the desk all day, right? Being indoors all day. So naturally, you're probably going to aim towards walking outside, right? Because you're going to be sick of being home. And I think that's the natural advantage that the warmer climates have. And it works better when you're working remote. Like here in Chicago, right? For the past few days, I've been doing work, right? And I would notice that I would even freaking dread work. I'd be like, I don't want to do this shit. It's like all I've been doing is in my room, right? And right now I plan on going somewhere else for it, but there's more friction, right? Before I leave, it's what's the weather? It's like 23 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It was snowing, right? I think it has a wind chill, which it feels like 10 degrees outside. So it's freezing outside. So already there's a lot of friction, right? So I don't want to walk outside. No one else wants to go outside. So naturally, it's easy to spend 3, 4 days inside without even realizing it. You can like I walk to the supermarket just because it's nearby and it gives me a reason to leave the house. That's the reason why I do it. But most people could just Instacart their food, right? And it makes sense. You could just Instacart your food and you don't have to leave the house. And that's the thing that you can do when you're walking out of that's the thing. Also, apologies. But another thing that gives you friction is that you have to put on all the layers, right? Like I have to wear sweatpants. I also have like compression shorts under this compression pants under my sweatpants. I have socks. I have I have my hoodie. Yes, I have my shirt, but then I also have to put my coat over it. It adds more friction in a warm weather climate. You just get up. Oh, I'm sick of being inside. You just get up and move, right? You just go outside. That's it. You can walk outside in flip flops if you really wanted to, but in cold climates, naturally there's friction, and outside is pretty harsh. Outside, you don't want to be outside when it's cold. So the way I deal with it, right, being in a cold weather climate, is by being inside. By going to coffee shops, right? By going to events on a once a week. That's the only issue. It's once a week. And I try to, and I know the events they have it in a co-working space, so I have access to the co-working space for free, and it gives me access to like being in an office without it being a job, right? With by me doing my work, but I still have access to the co-working space, coffee, water. It's a different type of environment. It gives me a change of state because I'm around people who are also like doing working on their own purpose, working on their own business. So it gives me that sort of refresher, right? And yeah, I just think that isolation is dangerous, right? If you think about it, the biggest source of human punishment is solitary confinement, right? Prison, and then within prison, if you do something wrong, you get punished by going into solitary confinement. And I don't think us being inside all day, right, in the winter time does any good for us. Actually, if anything, it has a lot of harm for us. And that's the advantage that warm weather climates have, and that's why I aim for being in a warm weather place, right? For the like right now, like there's a reason why I'm here in Chicago, but I know for in the future I plan on going somewhere warm. because the difference between a warm weather climate is that you have the options. You have the optionality to go outside. It depends on you. Some people say they like the cold weather better. I don't understand those people. And some people say they like seasons. I fucking hate seasons. I've lived in New York my entire life, and I've lived in Chicago. I prefer the summer. And the thing that I notice with myself is I still go to the gym. But in the wintertime, it requires more discipline to go to the gym, right? It requires more willpower to go to the gym, definitely. The summertime, it's more natural, right? You're more inspired to go to the gym, especially if you know you're going to the beach, especially if you know you're going to be wearing your tank top and you're going to be hanging out with people. Like, you want to look like you're in shape, so you're going to be more inspired to go to the gym. When you're in a warm weather climate, all year is the summer, so you're more likely to just stick with the gym, even if it wasn't a normal thing for you before. And yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it. I guess I'm kind of rambling at this point, but seriously, when it comes to working from home, don't isolate yourself so much, right? Especially if you're from a cold weather place. You guys understand what I'm talking about. Do not like sit in the house all day. If you have to, schedule some days in the coffee shop, right? If you could go to a co-working space, if you have the means for a co-working space, get a membership at a co-working space and just go there 2 3 times, maybe every day of the week, right? But I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I'm gonna keep creating more. Subscribe and take care.